Chi, and I am back to finish with round two of spirituality and relationships. Communication hot topic. I know that we were rudely interrupted by those winds outside, and that's all right because it was perfect timing. I actually had an appointment that I had to take. So these things, when we're relaxed and we know we're in the right place at the right time doing the right thing, uh, it's all good. All right. Thank you, Jagays. What up? Yeah. So I'm gonna finish what I'm talking about here. All right. It's important that we get into this. All right. So where I left off, because I know y'all gotta get prepared for your yogini meditation. Don't want to miss that at 11:11. It's gonna be popping off. All right. Where I left off was by identifying what kind of partner you have. They in it all the way. They in it because they like enough to want to know what you're doing, or they just want to mind their business and do their partner relationship. But overall, you bang with them, right? All right. So fast forward when you're clear about that, because the only way for you to get clarity around that is to have an open, honest conversation with your partner. And I'm assuming that at this point, sorry for all the extra noise, squeak, squeak in my chair. At this point, you have decided, along with your partner, that y'all are going to be serious. Because if y'all not going to be serious and y'all just bedroom buddies, y'all don't need to have this conversation, really. Unless your bedroom buddy is actually part of your spiritual practice and manifestation. And then, like, I think that should be a whole nother video. All right. All right. So, moving on. What if they don't practice the same thing as me? What are some of the red flags that can come up when you all have different practices? The first thing that comes to mind is religious or spiritual supremacy. What you don't want to have in a household or even in a relationship is that you have two people who are practicing something they're serious about, and one person thinks that and expresses that their practice is superior to the other person's. You don't want that. You don't want that because it's the same as anything else. If you're with someone and they feel like they're better than you in some kind of way, automatically that's a red flag because let's have some confidence here. Like if you're with me, you're the shit, right? If I'm with you, it's because you're the shit because I don't want to be with anyone who's whack. That makes sense. And I think that's fair and that's more equilibrium there, right? So with that being said though, right? Sometimes, little Johnny or Jane, they may not be as far along in their practice and what they've been doing so far works for them. But they might be dating somebody who is more advanced than them. And because that person has this viewpoint from a little further ahead, a little higher up in the mountain, they may come off as if whatever they're doing is better than. A little a little advice for the person who is coming along the way. Yo, check in. Check in with your confidence first and foremost before you even entertain it. Reason being is that spirituality and the kind of practice I'm talking about, I'm not talking about just cracking open the Bible or the Quran or Torah and you're going to read, you're going to just listen to a sermon and that's it. I'm talking about an interactive kind of spiritual practice. If I, Jane, enter into a relationship with someone who is um, depicting their practice as superior to mine. And up until this point, including the fact that, boo, you and me, right? Yeah. Like, first of all, if I'm Jane, you definitely were attracted to me. I did not chase you down. That's the way it's supposed to be, ladies. Anywho, right? If that's the case, one, I need to make sure that I'm absolutely confident in myself. When I decide, right, of my free will to get curious and practice what my partner who's more advanced than me starts is practicing. There's a couple of reasons why, okay? And this goes for the person who is more advanced as well. You want to make sure that your mate is not trying to join your journey from a place of lack, where there's lack of confidence, or mainly lack of confidence, or feeling like they're not good enough unless they're doing what you're doing. When you're in that practice and they're coming in with that kind of energy, no matter what you're doing, they're going to bring the vibration. Their vibration is going to match spiritual beings and energies that match lack. So it doesn't matter how like popping you are in your practice, and now your mate is like, yeah, I want to learn what you're learning, only because they're like trying to keep up and they just want to be down, right? They don't genuinely like really have an interest or feel like, wow, this is powerful and I really want to get into it because I can see from what is happening with you, like this is powerful. um that can mess up your flow too, right? Because then what happens when life happens and maybe y'all want to do something different? Do you want to take all your time teaching that individual something and they're just not going to be practicing it so long as they're not messing with you? Like, no, you want them to be taking something on that they truly believe in, right? And you don't want the person to be like faking it. Nobody wants somebody faking it when it comes to something as intimate as spirituality. It's just like if it's not working in the bedroom, you don't want them to be ooh and eyeing and they're faking. You want them to be like, hey, like, try this instead because I like that better. Just keeping it real. If you want to have a relationship that has depth, then you're going to have to go through some of those awkward moments of checking in when things may not go as planned. Okay? Um the other thing is, for people who are serious practitioners, I will say we're not interested in those of you who are like just textbook people who want to get into it just for the sake of it. Not interested. It's mad unattractive. It's way more attractive if the person is genuinely interested. Okay. Lastly, I think that was the last thing. It gets really, you know, I really went into depth here. I was like, let me really dig up some stuff for y'all because this happens to be a pain point for a lot of folks in our community, and I would love to see even more success across the board with people who are in solid relationships and serious about their spirituality. All right, you can have both. You should have both. Okay. Here's the thing: if you two practice something different, like I said before, and I'm gonna return to it, your values can be the same, but the names of your gods are different. Your God or your gods are different. But if your values are the same, which is at the foundation, rewind, remember your business model, relationships work as a business model with a business model type of situation as well. Okay? Um, be realistic. You know what I'm saying? If you're a Satanist, you're not gonna have a good time dealing with somebody if they're a devout Catholic. Like, y'all have two different things going on, and they're going to clash with one another. So you may have similar values, but energetically, they just like don't really mesh very well. You feel me? So it's not that they have to be the same, right? And all the way congruent, but from a chemical stance, they need to you both need to know enough about what you're doing to see if it's really going to work or not. Because you might both have values that we believe in family, But then what is the basis of creating family and holding that family together? And if you're going to have a spiritual practice, how can the family be built on something that two things that are going in totally different directions? Keep that in mind and be realistic and spare yourself the headache. You know what I'm saying? They might be a good person. Be friends. You know what I'm saying? Just be friends. But the foundation is going to be like uh borderlining earthquakes, because it's always going to be like trying to make something fit. It just doesn't. Lastly, there are literal chemicals where certain spirits do not want to be around other spirits. So, if you're looking at your environment and you live in a one-bedroom apartment, you want to consider, do we practice things that if they're in the same room together, every time we come home, we're going to be arguing, or we're going to like dry up our sex life, or we're not producing as well. You want to keep things like that in perspective. Space matters. Some elementals, some spirits want to be outside, and you may not have space to have them outside. So think about those details and have an honest conversation when you start thinking about having a serious relationship and cohabitating. I say that's important because if the space is not conducive to it, if whatever music, smells, or elements, or the lineage, they don't speak at all, you want to be aware of that and deal with it seriously and not take it for granted, because it will ruin whatever you're trying to do. Okay? All right. So, lastly, last thing, y'all, make sure you're having a conversation with your mate as you're going through different levels of your spirituality. For those of you, and what up, So? For those of you who, and shouts out, right, to the Pompageras that just crossed over. You're initiates. You're priests now, right? These things change a lot about you. You're not the same person. You can't be the same person. You've just gone through so many changes on a cellular level, right? And that goes for anyone. As you grow and you progress, you want to have conversations with people that you live with, that they understand, not from a scary place. You want to remove as much fear from what you're practicing as possible, because believe me, the moment something goes wrong, okay, I mean, somebody can trip on the carpet, they're gonna be like, it's your spirits. Your spirits are fucking with me. Your spirits are causing me to have a problem. Your spirits are causing uh my deals to go bad. Your spirits got me locked up. Like, okay, so before you start arguing about what you're doing, right? You need to have conversations like that. Once you're family and you're under the same roof, like, you can't hide your spirituality, especially like when you're a priest. This is a whole nother bag, okay? Right? When you are just practicing, you can kind of like keep things a little more like, this is what I do. But once you're living with somebody and this is your family and you're now a practitioner, you're like literally in it all the way. You want to make sure that you reassure those who are not actually in it that they're still part of it, so long as they have not verbalized that they don't want any parts of it. Okay? You want to explain to them what are some things they can do. Like, for example, um, I've been in my tradition for, I don't want to age myself, but for like 20 plus years. Okay? And like, I've dated people who weren't in my tradition. When they would come to my house, could they greet my warriors? Sure. You know? Sure, when you come in the house, this is how you greet my warriors. They don't have any. but they wanted to learn how they can participate in some way. When it's time to eat, how do they notice I feed my ancestors? Is it okay if I make a plate when I and put it down too? Sure. The same way you would treat your children who are not of choice making age yet when it comes to their spirituality. You give them these little things so that they can participate and not feel like, you know, you're just this amazing, phenomenal spiritual being and they have no idea what the hell's going on. Because, like I said before, if you're powerful and you're fly and you're popping, you want your mate to have as many tools as possible that you can give them so that they are also as popping as you are. No one who really loves you is going to let you lack on the side just because, they want to get ahead. If you're really trying to build a solid relationship, you're going to open up the way, especially if you are the one leading the way because you have more information or you have more experience. You don't want to leave your mate behind, all right? And you should always explain that every time you go through certain things, why there's a period of waiting, of integration, why there's a period of like seclusion. All those things should always be explained ahead of time. It's much like you would have to watch my other video on spiritual integrity, right? You want to stay in integrity with your mate, of course. So you're going to have those conversations. So if all of this makes sense and it was helpful to you, please drop a heart in the chat because we're talking about love, relationships, and spirituality. Okay? Um Perfect time. Now that I've dived fully into priesthood, I've seen my mate support me more than ever in my spirituality. I do feel if we both practice in our home, we would be unstoppable. Yes, everyone's dream is that when they decide to take the next step and become either a priest or on the path to becoming a priest in a tradition, is that their mate is going to genuinely jump in it. Why? Because you do become unstoppable all the way. You just do. You are unstoppable. Like, if it doesn't even matter, like, the ones who are devout Christians together, and no shade on Christianity, right? But like we talk about a lot of real esoteric spirituality here, and for the most part, that kind of community might not see Christianity as a whole. Like, it's important still, right? It does not matter what level of spirituality, so long as the two people really are moving in the same accord when it comes to spirituality, like yoked, union, right? At the spiritual level, no one can bother it. They just can't. They can try, but it's not gonna work. Okay? It's deeper. It's deeper than flesh. And it doesn't really need any explaining because it speaks for itself. Um Then on top of that, with the peace house, like your family be like, your spirits are making things happen in here. I mean, if whoever in your household is acting up, you know what I'm saying? Like, and because you are aware of your spirits, like, let them know that your spirits can't do things that you're unaware of, right? They can't. So if your spirits did trip them with the carpet, then you like, all right, so like I want you to understand that this is serious. So like don't talk shit about me in your head and think that you're not gonna bite your tongue because like the energy in here now is on a whole nother level. And it works for us when we are being our best selves. And when we're not gonna be our best selves, they're gonna come in here and act up, me included. Let them know that your spirits will check you as well. Y'all need to be honest. Y'all know the truth. Your spirits will check your ass. My spirits check me. Are you kidding me? My spirits check me and we like back and forth. What's up? I didn't mean to do all right, I'm gonna do it right the next time. Like, we having these conversations. So don't let your loved one feel attacked or like a target Let them know, like, these entities are here to support us. I love you, so they cover us, not just me, us. All right. And then when the most, some of the funnier things is when you all know that you have a whole spirit team that's working for the collective of your family, and like Soto said, you watch them check people who are not part of your unit, right? You got the little lingering ones who try to holler on the side. You know what I'm saying? Then you find out that, something unfortunate happens to them. And y'all look at each other like, they tried it, right? Exactly. I mean, not to be, I don't want to go in that direction. I just want to stay up on this side, right? Y'all know me. Anyways, I have fun with this conversation. Y'all know I love relationships. I love family. I know that they're like one of the hardest freaking things to maintain. It ain't easy. It ain't always beautiful, but I love it just the same, and it helps us to grow. The more we can uh really stick with building and growing and not being very, very fickle human beings, um, we can get somewhere. As a people, as families, I'm here for it. So if you have um, any questions or comments, please let me know. And for those of you who don't already know, because my clients love these, I've got some CBD bath bombs. And while I have them, y'all can grab them. They are, just text me at 202-810-1876. I only have a few left. Y'all know I'm a body worker, and my clients who have chronic pain absolutely love these. Okay? You already know I'm drinking my geisha. I got the 64 Yogini coffee upstairs. Mind your business. But these CBD bath bombs are actually bomb. Um, I work out, I use them myself. And like I said, my clients love them. And it's not too heavy so that you don't feel like a crazy, like I'm so high, I can't do anything. It's a nice floating sensation. Plus, it has sandalwood in it, and sandalwood is a very important smell for the energies that you all are entertaining, actually. So I will holla at y'all. Get ready for your meditation. Thanks so much for being here with me. Peace, love, and bliss. I'm out.